Krakow is one of the best student cities in Europe, and today I will be taking you around the city, discussing all the little things that makes this city the best choice for European and non-European students to come and study. We'll be discussing different topics, starting from the cost of living to the uni life, then the social life and the nightlife, and then some challenges. Okay, so now that we are sitting, let's start to break down the list, starting from the cost of living. If you're coming from a country Euro-based, coming here it's still cheaper than probably your home country, even though prices here are getting higher and higher. Even if this is a country of the European Union, they don't use the euro, but they use zloty. So that's why if you come from a euro-based country, you have more purchase power. Price for food is actually cheap. Also, eating out is for sure cheaper than a lot of European country. Planning to come here as a student, you won't be eating out every day. And let's start to break down the main grocery shop that you can find here. Starting from Żabka, that will be your best friend, especially when you are in the city center, because you find it literally everywhere, and they are usually characterized to be small shops with, let's say, a little bit of everything, and the prices are a little bit higher than like an actual supermarket. The one that I showed you now is the classic Żabka. The cool thing is that literally if you put it on Google Maps, you will see so many little points that will show you that there is a lot, especially in the city center. And that's how it is, like very little. You don't find a lot of variety, mainly like drinks or chips, some little amount of meat, eggs, yogurt. So if you need something quick, you can easily come here, and the prices are the one that you saw in the video. For, let's say, a bigger grocery shopping, it's better to go in Biedronka, but you can also find other shops like Lidl or Carrefour. But Biedronka is the cheapest one. And my advice for you is to do all the card that you can possibly do. For example, if you do the Biedronka card, you get a lot of discounts. So it's actually nice at the end of the week to save some money. Okay, so now let's break down the proper price of living here. I have different colleagues of mine in uni that they have their own apartment and they pay around 700 to 800 euros per month, and most of them they share it. And while me, I live in a student dorm that is called Milestone, and it's situated in a very strategic position. It's in the center and it's well connected with all the different, tramway or bus, and it's in a very good position from the center, so it's easily walkable. And I share the flat with my girlfriend, and we pay 300 euros per person every month, so it's fair. It has a lot of facilities. We have 2 gyms, cinema room, a playroom, and it's actually a nice place if you want to meet people, and it's easy if you are an international student, to make new friends and actually new activities, so it's 100% recommended.
Deixa que o carinho seja o beijo de uma flor. Deixa que o amor invade a porta da tua casa.
This one that I'm showing you is the main building of my university, the Jagiellonian University. It's one of the most prestigious here in Krakow, but this is not my building. Mine is a little bit further. So let's start to break down the uni system that it's here in Poland.
Desde pequenino que eu sei que o amor perdura. Basta ter carinho.
So starting from the grading system, there is a scale that goes from basically 0 to 5, and this is the maximum that you can get. The classes are usually split between lecture and the proper class, or they can also be like a conversatorium, so like more spoken class rather than the exercises and so on. Me personally, I don't really actually like that much the grading system, because I come from one, there is the Italian one, that has actually a lot more variability in the system, and here instead you just have like 3 that it's good, 4 that is very good, and 5 that is perfect. So you actually have to be careful about it. As an international student, the professors' expectations are still higher than I expected, and this is one of the main difference between an international student and an Erasmus one, because as long as you are in Erasmus, professors, they don't want you to fail, so even if you do the bare minimum, they will try and help you to let you pass, while here it's not that easy. So you actually have to not kill yourself with studying, but you have to put a little bit of effort to pass. One nice thing in the Polish system is actually that if you speak Polish, or if you are Polish, you actually will never pay for universities, and that's the main difference between the Polish versus English, let's say. And actually Polish people can also take for free an English course, so it's a nice opportunity for them. Based on my previous experiences, I was expecting actually a little bit more of, let's say, university life, even though it's pretty active, but it's mainly active within the Polish students rather than with the internationals. Also because ESN, Erasmus Student Network here, doesn't really work that well. So it's I've struggled a little to find international friends, apart from the one of my studies, which I really like. Apart from this, Krakow, related always with the uni life, it's full of coffee spots. It's literally heaven if you are a coffee lover. So actually going to studies is very easy to do it outside and organize yourself to go with friends and studying all together. So if you like this kind of way of studying, is actually the perfect city, and there is literally coffee place all over the city, and they're opening again and again, so you always have something new to try. Together with the huge presence of coffee shops, Krakow is actually heaven also for just restaurants. You find a lot of them, especially if you are an international foodie, you will find everything. There is a lot of Italian, kebab spot, Georgian, Thai food. You will find everything you may desire, sushi, everything, literally everything. Together with the food spot, of course, there is also a lot of pub, and this is also a big part of the Polish culture, the drinking part, which is something that I don't really relate to, but this is good for the nightlife. The nightlife scene here in Krakow is actually very active, and it's full of disco. There is a lot of parties. Also, let's say inside the week, for all the genre possible, from techno to reggaeton, you will find a lot. There are different disco. Prices are very accessible, and it's also, nice, because especially during winter, you can't really enjoy outside because it's very cold, and so you have to find an interaction place that is inside. So together with disco, there are also pubs, and actually a lot of places where you have like board games and you can have fun spending time there. In these cases, it is one of the few moments where you can actually feel a little bit of problems with the language barrier, because of course Polish people tends to stay with other Polish people, and so maybe breaking through in this kind of groups is a little bit more difficult. But at the same time, the knowledge of English is pretty diffused, so you won't be having problem having some kind of interaction. And even if at first Polish people may be felt as someone very, like, let's say, on their own, as soon as they open to you, they really will treat you always as you were like one brother or sister to him, and they are very, very literally embracing you, and they want you just the best. Like my girlfriend's group of friends, they always treat me like I'm part of them. And of course there are some moments where, let's say that there is the conversation that is going on in Polish, so I can't really join, but it would be probably the same if she was in Italy and I was with a group of Italian friends, so it's fine. So as I walk down by the river, let's start to wrap up this vlog and come to an end, and let's face the challenges. The challenges of, if you're thinking about coming here to Krakow to become a student, or just like as an Erasmus. I mentioned it already before, but let's mention it again because the language barrier sometimes can be hard. If you're planning to come here, I highly recommend you to learn at least like the basic words to survive in Polish, to order something or to ask for something, and that will be very helpful because English is, let's say, diffused between our generation, but maybe if you go into a shop and you find someone older, that's something that you don't have to take for granted. Another challenge, especially if you're coming from a country that is known from EU, is the residence permit and the visa, which can take a lot of time depending on from where you're coming. I know like different people that were supposed to be studying with me that they didn't get the visa and they were not accepted, so they basically had to stay in their country. So be careful and read like properly even before applying for the university. Read carefully about your country residence permit regulations. Of course, someone may ask me why I chose Krakow, and the answer is no, jokes apart, the tuition fee here is actually a lot cheaper than the one in Italy. And the unis are very prestigious, especially the one that I managed to get into. So it's a potentially nice choice to do. So take it in consideration also you if you're planning to come here. I'm studying in a master, so you can also do it after your bachelor. Another struggle that you may potentially find, and that's the one that I struggled the most with, is the winter struggle. If you're coming from a warm country, guys, be careful because it's going to hit you. During winter it's very cold, but the main problem that I was facing is this kind of sky that I have on my back today that is very gray, and sometimes when it's dark already at 3 p.m. it's really depressive. Imagine that during December we only had 15 hours of sunlight. 15. Coming from Sicily, imagine how harmful it was for me. It teaches you actually resilience and to find joy in something else, but at the same time in December is basically the moment where the pharmacy are making more money out of the vitamin D requests. And here is actually, I think it's mandatory to take it, to fight against depression. so be ready for this. And then other struggle, there is the last one that I have in my mind, is if you don't have a scholarship, what do you do? It's very easy to find a job in Krakow. First, because of all the presence of all these restaurants, coffee spot. Of course, even if you don't speak the language, you can find something maybe like in the restoration, so like in the kitchen or cooking something, especially if you come from a specific country and you find like a restaurant that is from your nationality, you can always be helpful. But at the same time, around the city is full of corporations, is full of companies, so there is a lot of opportunities, and that's why Krakow is so attractive for a lot of international students actually. So keep it in mind. Together with this, there's also a lot of opportunities for you to start like some kind of side hustle, for example investing, as I'm trying to do in social medias and TikTok, YouTube. That's something that you can potentially try to do and see how it goes. Let me know if you in the comments if you have some more question, or if you think that there will be more struggles, and I will be happy to answer to everyone. So see you next week. Hope you like this video, and see you in Krakow.